will I? Thank you for watching. I am going to keep talking for some time, and this is part of a podcast. It's called The Peter Repeater in a YouTube screen near you, and I'll try and talk about some stuff. In the past, I have been pretty sure that people have been watching, but to be honest, I don't actually fully know. So I'm left in this headspace where I'm just speaking and perhaps no one is listening, but I think in the spirit of the people that might watch the recording, I have to keep on maintaining a dialogue and keep the conversation alive, so it is interesting to listen to the talking. So I've got a cup of tea, and I've got my tablet here. So I thought what I might do is just focus on world events and see if I can shed some light on the current world situation, and I might be able to be a source of news every day, or something like that, and hopefully I can be the local and global news correspondent. So it's just having stuff to talk about, really. So let's go on BBC News and let's see what I can read from the news and keep you informed, keep you up to date with the latest and greatest news. So BBC News, brilliant. So the headline so far is Coronavirus, social distancing enforced globally. So in the UK, shuts pubs, and America has a lockdown will soon have a lockdown for over 70 million people. And now that's interesting because an MP that I'm aware of is in the news, so that's interesting, and yeah, it's good. So what else can I draw from the news? Anything interesting? UK supermarkets appeal for more staff to help feed the nation. So they're hiring. They are putting measures in place. That's a favourite word, measures. A big recruitment drives for a total of more than 30,000 jobs. Sorry for that microphone clinking. Tesco, Asda, Aldi and Lidl say they would hire thousands of staff after hugely increased demand saw shoppers clearing shelves. Sainsbury's asked shoppers to stay 1 metre away from shop staff if possible to keep them safe. So all these so you have all these so the summary of the coronavirus, of my daily update from my listeners: death toll passes 11,000, confirmed cases past 275,000, and nearly 90,000 people have recovered. Spain death toll jumps by more than 300 to 1,326. 1 in 5 Americans soon to be under stay-at-home order. Britain wakes up to shuttered pubs, restaurants and cafes. China reports no new locally transmitted cases for third consecutive day. Sydney closes its famous beaches, including Bondi, due to overcrowding. And after months fighting the virus, Singapore reports first 2 deaths. So, yeah. So there's lots of the big issue will no longer be sold on UK streets from Monday. Whatever that means. Children, so schools have Friday yesterday was the last day of schools being open, and now there's a list of key workers where those children will still go to school. So let's look at the list of key workers. So health and social care. So doctors. So the children of these people still go to school because of childcare issues, and the adults still need to go to work. So health and social care, doctors, nurses, midwives, paramedics, social workers, care workers, all of that. Educational and childcare, key public services, local and national government, public safety and national security, transport, food and other necessary goods, utilities, communications, and financial. Which schools will be open? So, Education Secretary Gavin Williamson said that in England the aim would be to provide support in school for an estimated 10% of pupils. What will children be in schools be doing? Any impression that it will be business as usual in schools is wrong. Head teachers will have to take a pragmatic approach when they know which teachers and which children are coming in. There will be no curriculum to follow, no strict year groups, and pupils of different ages mixing in class or working on projects together. Heads say there will probably be a lot of physical exercise and a big push to make the education on offer creative and engaging. So it sounds like the children going to school are having quite a nice time, and the other children are going to be bored. Okay, so what about children staying at home? The situation is very unclear. Many schools have been setting up online learning or preparing homework packs for children, but this often depends on families having internet access and devices pupils can use. It may also depend on adults being able to supervise learning. When it comes to playing, the advice is children can still go outside with appropriate oversight, but will have to reduce their social contact. They could go for a bike ride, for example, with a friend, but they would have to remain 2 meters apart. They should not take part in team games or share toys, and should wash their hands regularly. So, how long will the schools be closed? Till September. Although nothing has been announced. And what about exams? Summer exams have been cancelled, including GCSE and A levels. I'd be gutted if, I suppose it's a pros and cons, but I'd be gutted if I had bad mock results as an A level student and I've been doing bad all year, and then they base my end grade on my work so far, and then you get like a worse grade. But I think mostly when I was at school, I was quite level. I don't know why I made that whistle sound. But I'm quite level in my mock to exam grading. I've got my target grades. How will children be assessed instead? Students will be provided with these calculated grades at the end of July. If they are unhappy with the outcome, they will have the right to appeal, to sit the exams early in the next academic year, and to reset in the summer of 2021. Very interesting. So they would just be given grades. The exam board will then combine this information with other relevant data, including prior grades, and produce a calculated grade for each student. So you just get given a grade. Don't do the work. Don't take the exams. Here's a grade. Here's an A star. There you go. No exam for you. Oh, that'd be magic if I was an A-level student. I suppose it's bad because you're not learning, so it kind of negates the whole point of school. But if you get given a grade, then you didn't have to work for it as much as you would have done. Then I suppose it's a good thing. But then going to university or going on to A-levels or the second year of sixth form, then you'll be in a predicament where you've got massive holes in your learning and you will have to work even harder. Because I've missed days of school before and I've always had to catch up a lot afterwards. For example, I went to Switzerland, and then what I did was I had to work the whole weekend after coming back from Switzerland to learn momentum. So teachers never taught me momentum. I did it by myself. So that's some of the headlines about schools. Let's go on other headlines. So there's a worldwide news situation where everything is happening to loads of people at the same time, and they're trying their best to cope with it. So that's quite good. I don't know what I'm saying. Is that good? It's just interesting. Everyone together doing things together and all being affected at the same time. What are shops? There's a couple of headlines. What can the UK learn from Italy? Because Italy are ahead of us. They've got it worse, and we're about to get it worse as well. But let's look at what are shops doing about stockpiling. So, British supermarkets are being asked to pool resources during the coronavirus outbreak in a bid to combat panic buying and restock empty shelves. What is the government doing about panic buying? Rules have been relaxed by the government to allow supermarkets to work together. This means supermarkets can now share resources such as distribution depots, delivery vans and staff, as well as coordinating stock levels across the country. Rules around drivers' hours have been loosened to help get more food delivered to stores, while 5p plastic bag charge is being waived for online orders to speed up deliveries. I can't believe that the chaos that's been ensued on the whole world and people having too many critical patients in hospitals, not having enough resources to keep everyone alive, and all this is happening, and the response is let's make plastic bags free, let's get rid of the 5p charge. I think some of the government response to it is just to make ourselves feel better, when really the virus is just spreading like it would do pretty much anyway. It's all about flattening the curve, when really we're just gonna get worse and things are gonna get bad. How are supermarkets trying to stop panic buying? So they're like limiting the amount you can buy, like to 3 of any product and only 2 of toilet roll and paracetamol, things like that. Why there could be less choice. And Morrison's have reduced their bakery lines from 17 to 7. That's very useful, maybe. For example, one retailer which makes 60 kinds of sausages will only produce a fraction of those. So how many people are panic buying? Social media is in full of reports of empty shelves and similar scenes in countries such as Australia, the US, South Africa, and Japan. But the main items that are being stockpiled are antibacterial products including hand sanitizer, toilet roll and tissues, long life milk, pasta, tinned vegetables, rice, soap, cleaning products, pain relief. The government has said there is no reason for anybody to stockpile. So really, if everyone just carried on as normal, it's funny because it's like completely unnecessary. Maybe people self-isolating actually need the food, but just people could have just carried on pretty much as normal without this panic buying, stockpiling, and everything would be fine. But just because some people are trying to get more, it means that other people get less, and it's descending into chaos. So that is a little daily update of the coronavirus. We might come back to it later on in the podcast, but this product is in very high demand, and we are doing everything we can to get it out to you as soon as possible. Very interesting. I just find it fascinating the lengths people are going to look after themselves, and the sheer lack of stuff available. And I have too joined in with some of the panic buying, awaiting stuff in the post I am. Let's go on. I'm just checking. Brilliant. So everything should be fine, and things will arrive in the post. And hopefully, let's have a look. Are they still in stock? Okay. Yeah, so hopefully things will arrive in post. Let's just say I have got, just looking at my tablet there just for quite a long time, not speaking, but let's just say that I've got a couple of things arriving in the post to help out. Hopefully they come, but one thing has a delay of 8 to 10 weeks because there's such a high demand, and I didn't really preemptively go get it. I just thought in the moment, I thought, well, we might need that in the future, so I got that thing. And 8 to 10 weeks because there's so many people ordering on that website. We were experiencing high demand 50 times the usual daily amount. So things are being bought, and whether this is for any real sense of need or whether we are just stocking up unnecessarily, it's hard to say. Well, let's look at what Italy's like, because I was wondering about that. So if I go on BBC News, and let's go on the right one. What can the UK learn from Italy? Lessons from the lockdown in Italy. What happens when everyday life suddenly changes? Let's see. The priorities become clear. Food, health, family. That's it. You adapt in a moment. Once people were confident there was no problems with food supply, once people were confident that there were no problems with the food supply, the panicking behaviour stopped. Wow. The next social challenge was an eruption of fake news. WhatsApp groups were pinging with the spread of hoaxes, false cures, and conspiracy theories. Local people have suffered from an epidemic of information, he says, both useful and fake. Okay. In the UK, social media has been used to prepare for the storm ahead, sharing ideas to help the elderly or isolated. A COVID-19 mutual aid group is supporting hundreds of local efforts, and neighbours have been signing up to WhatsApp groups to offer assistance. That was pretty useless. So, yeah. So, quarantined. The Lombardy, town of 16,000 people, has found itself the unexpected front line of a pandemic. Okay, so they were quarantined early on. The Wuhan of Italy. They're unlikely to want to put it on tourist posters, but Codogno has acquired the label the Wuhan of Italy, linking it to the Chinese city that saw the first cases of COVID-19 at the end of December. Okay, so I didn't really learn much from that Italy situation because nothing jumped out on the page. So, yeah. Oh, this is interesting. So Italy has got 35,000 cases as of Wednesday. Iran has got 17,000, Spain 13,000, Germany 12,000, France 9,000, South Korea 8, US 7, Switzerland 3, UK 2,000, all of those were thousands, Netherlands 2, others 21, total 133,000. It's really hard to read stuff when it's really convoluted and in great detail. So I was going to let that be the daily update of the current news, and I will bring you the latest and greatest news tomorrow, and I don't know if anything could be different. So basically, I think what might happen in the future is a potential lockdown of the country. So that would be people self-isolating, but everyone self-isolating. So in that scenario, it's difficult to see how people would get food and essentials. So things would have to be delivered door to door, and people would have to be given rations, which I think this country is capable of doing. But I just hope that we can have enough, all of us, and there's no need for people to run out. But there already are cases of people not having enough when they really need it, like nurses that come back from a long shift and want to feed their family. They've only got a short time to do their shopping. They go to the shops, all the shelves are empty, so they've got nothing. So I think there's a short time where people are just managing on what they have in the house, and when that runs out and there's even more strict measures in place for self-isolating and all the like of that, I think we'll be in a real pickle where people don't have food at home. So it won't be enough just for supermarkets to sell it because people keep on hoarding and everything. I think we have to have rations, and it might be that the food supply just returns to normal, but I have a feeling with all the self-isolating that goes on that it's the panic buying is only going to continue, because there's the people who stock up now, and then there's everyone else who didn't stock up, and then they need to stock up, and then that leaves with a proportion of people continually not stocking up, and they will eventually want to stock up. So I think the whole idea of panic buying is a continuing situation, and people who think that things will just settle down by themselves, I think are being way too optimistic. So my t-shirt has Rick and Morty. I like the show, very good. So I don't know what the plan is for today. I did my daily update of coronavirus, which I think is important for those that are interested and want to listen to it as part of their podcast. But apart from that, I think what I'll do is I'll try and think of some other interesting stuff. So most recently I listened to a podcast with Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell, and they were talking about some really, really bizarre things, really crazy, like energies and spiritual, and talking about reincarnation and everything, and just how this pandemic might be a reset button that makes people realize what's really important, and will be less, hopefully, be less focused on social media and everything, and just be more willing to engage with what really matters, like family and stuff, and just people who spend their lives, the sort of like sleepwalking was the term they used. People just go through it all and don't really think about stuff. They just check their phone all the time, they go to their boring job, and it's just all a mundane routine, and it's not the best for some people. So hopefully coronavirus, if anything good comes from it, will just make people realise what's really important and bring us together. Because certainly in my lifetime nothing like this has happened, and it's really interesting how different people respond to it. Some people care about the virus, some people care about the food, and there's different ways of thinking about it. And for me personally, I'm pretty chilled. I don't interact much with people in my current state of life. I stay inside quite a lot, so I should be okay. And then this is self-centered, but it's just looking after myself. But yeah, if I do get the virus, I'm 22 and healthy, so hopefully I can fight it and recover. That is the aim. So I've done my daily update of the coronavirus, and I've talked to you about the podcast I've listened to, and the book that I'm reading. For those old listeners, I've written a book called An Unbelievable God. An Unbelievable God by Peter Newing. Find it in the Kindle store, search my name or search An Unbelievable God, and hopefully you can buy it, which would be great. It costs 99p or 99 cents or whatever your currency is, and it's got lots of spelling mistakes in it and stuff, but it is really quite interesting. I'm reading it at the moment after having spent like nearly a month writing it. I'm reading it and it's good. Some of the stuff I've written is really good. It just makes you think. It's like so articulatedly exact and it just makes sense. I am heavily biased because I wrote it, so I think it makes sense. But hopefully, when other people get to read it, it can open their ideas to God, and hopefully it'll be a useful tool for both the non-believer and the believer. The non-believer will open their ideas to God believing, and the believer will open their ideas to strengthening their belief or losing it or something. But yeah, I think it would be good to do this podcast when I can, and I like to keep you updated and everything. But I am aware that I can only do so much, so I think I might leave it there, and I come back to the podcast another day or later on today, and hopefully things will go well. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching. See you when I live stream next in the Peter Repeater. Thank you. Bye for now.